I've been watching more YouTube videos about basically trying, like, resting in God, relying on Him when He's having you undergo trials, when He's testing you, um, things like that. And it kind of got me to stop and contemplate what my journey with God has been like. And from the outside looking in, I think people would say one thing about me. But the inside looking out, like me thinking about my life, I would be a different story. I think my way of looking at my life is bleaker than what other people would say looking at me. I think other people would say looking at me is that I've always been a faithful young man. I've always desired to serve God, love other people, be kind, have a servant like heart. Um, Seeking God's will in his life. That's what I think a lot of people would say about me. And that's I think that's true. Regardless though, that's kind of what I think people would say about me and my friends, my family, people that I don't know that well, like coworkers and whatnot. Um, but how I see my own journey of faith, my own path in life in regards to my relationship with God, it's like I kind of worked backwards from where I'm at now to the past, and I stopped at the beginning of high school because that's kind of where I've experienced a lot more struggle, is from freshman year of high school kind of onward to this point now. So that's I think I was I think I yeah you're for well I think I turned 14 in as a freshman in April, so at the end of the year. So but basically, well, 13 to what am I now? Oh my goodness, I'm 26. So that would be 13 years. Yeah, basically 13 years. So that's half my life. That literally is half my life. So for half my life, the first half of my life being a kid was good. And obviously I had problems growing up, but they were very just life. Like they were just very like kids being mean. Moving was kind of a scary thing. Um, and making new friends, going to new schools, just not liking to do schoolwork, getting in trouble with my parents or fighting with my siblings, stuff like that, which is normal. It's just part of life. It's kind of what being a kid's like. Exploring, getting to know the world. I had no big issues though growing up as a kid. None that I can remember. I had a happy childhood, and I'm thankful. Like I feel like somebody's got to represent having a happy childhood, and I think that I definitely am in that camp. Um, but yeah, this last half of my life, um, and I know those later years of childhood, like 10 to 13, like I know you're getting a little, I was more cognizant. Like that's kind of when I turned into, went through puberty and became, a man more so than a kid. And I did change a lot during that time. But regardless, 13 to 26, like I definitely remember freshman year, I'd read Ecclesiastes. It's been all downhill since then. um, but I mean, I do remember that I was in study hall freshman year, maybe sophomore year, but I think that's freshman year. I'm not 100% sure on that, but um, just ever since then, like doubting God's existence more so, like not being sure that He was there. Like I can't prove it, and I still can't prove it that He is. That's why we have to have faith and belief, in my opinion. But I definitely think the evidence points to there being intelligent designer and a creator who made all what we, you know, exist in. And I do think that he's outside of time, space, and matter. Like he exists outside of that. Um, like, anyways, like I don't think he's somewhere in our universe. Like I think he's outside of our universe. But I have no idea. It's just a thought I have. But regardless of that, like, um, yeah, I really started struggling believing that God existed when I was kind of at the end of college, more so. But prior to that, my struggles were more so I was wanting my life to turn out a certain way, and it wasn't exactly turning out the way I wanted it to. Like, I was struggling with college a lot. I went to electrical engineering because I wanted to, I thought it was a worthy career path to go down. And it was, and it is, and I'm blessed by it, to be honest. Like, the job I have, it's weird, though, because it's so stinking easy. It's so backwards. Work and careers are so stinking weird, but in education, college, for education part of it. But anyways, yeah, into college is when I was struggling with my belief in God actually existing. But then all my questions that I had, they largely got answered. I don't even remember them all. But I ended up coming to the conclusion that I can't prove that God exists, but I definitely can't prove that he doesn't exist. And I think the evidence points to him being there rather than not. And same with Jesus Christ. I think there is straight up records of Jesus Christ existing on earth outside the Bible, like in Roman, records or whatever. Like any from things I'd seen, and I don't think people really refute that Jesus, um, actually existed or not. Like I definitely think he was a real man, and unlike all the teachings and stuff, it's like where'd that come from? I definitely think it came from him. But regardless, like, uh, in all the testimonies of people that got to experience and be with him, and while he was on Earth, it's just like, yeah. And I believe that he resurrected from the dead. Like, I just believe it all. And now it's like my struggle isn't so much believing that he's there; it is just getting some sort of direction in my life from him. Like hearing from him, like seeking his will in my life. That's well, and it's not exactly just that, but it's like, yeah, I think it's hard being a single person for me. Uh, um, like just I don't know if it's because I want to get married so badly, or if it's that I hate being alone. Um, Maybe a combination of the two. And I don't hate being alone, and I enjoy being single to some extent, at least. So it's kind of a weird problem. But I will admit, like there'll be girls that come up in my life that I get really disappointed about when it doesn't work out. So, and that really does hurt. Like any rejection story I have, that's probably been the most painful thing I've experienced in my life. But I've experienced, like, one of the crazy things in my life is I accidentally ran into a window when I was bicycling around my campus when I was 20. It was 2016, so was I 21? I think I was 21. So that would be 5 years ago. So it's 2021 to 2016. Yeah, it's 5 years ago. So yeah, I was 21, or 20, gonna turn 21, something like that. And well, no, I was 21 because it was in the fall of that year, September 4th, 2016. So I ran into a window, cut my arm open. This, I don't know if you can see the scar, but it's right there. It goes all the way up to the middle of my forearm, down kind of like a snake to this side. And I cut all the way to the bone. I cut through the main three nerves, the ulnar nerve, which is the one that kind of feeds the pinky and the ring finger, the median nerve, which goes down the middle of the arm on this side, and then the radial nerve, Man, it's been a while, so I kind of forget now. But I'm pretty sure the radial nerve on the top that feeds the top part of the hand. But yeah, sliced it on open, and I honestly, like, I was gonna die if I didn't stop bleeding, and I didn't stop bleeding even when the paramedics came. Uh, they had some blood on them, I think. I don't really know how it all worked, honestly. I just know I lost a quarter of all the blood in my body. And people probably lose way more than that in other circumstances, but I mean, I lost a lot of blood pretty fast. And to be honest, it happened. I was like, this sucks. This is bad. Stepped away from my bicycle, looked down at my arm, looked out at the ground, I saw the blood on the ground. And then I held my arm and I was walking away and I looked up and around. I was like, man, I screwed up. It's like I got to ask for help, I guess. I didn't want to. And then I screamed for help. And help, blah, 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 help. Help. Pretty stinking loud. I yelled really loud. And then somebody came out and looked down, and I was bleeding. I left a trail of blood. It was kind of cool. And so they ended up coming out. His name's Jake Paul, I think. And it's another dude. I think his name's Seth. Another guy named Seth. They came out and one of them wrapped their shirt around my arm, and I came and sat down by the wall, and I was just trying to stay awake, trying not to pass out, because I thought if I passed out, I would definitely adios world, So but I stayed awake. They helped me stay awake. Like, my friends came and they helped me stay awake till the paramedics got there. It took the paramedics 15 minutes to get there or something. It was kind of a long time, which is bad. It took a while. Anyways, they showed up. They said not to do a tourniquet, which somebody had a belt, I think, or they took my belt and we tried to make a tourniquet or whatever. And they said not to do that. And also, anyways, there's a lot of people there. I'm kind of missing some people that were there. I'm not saying everybody who's there, but anyways, paramedics were there. They got me in, and went to the hospital. And yeah, they saved my arm, which was great because it was pretty bad. And man, Dr. McCuzy, she did a great job making my arm look like a normal arm still. I was big old deep cut. My muscles were kind of out of my arm, a little bit. It wasn't crazy, but it was crazy, but it's not insanely crazy. But man, she just did a good job putting everything back in there, and it feels good. I can use my hand pretty good. And I don't have full functionality of my hand. So all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. I guess I just bring it up because it's my story. It's something I went through. And at the time, I was experiencing a lot of depression. And that incident, honestly, was a big relief for me because it gave me a bunch of attention and it gave me a place a place for my pain to go. It was real pain, And whereas my depression, that kind of pain, it's not real, It's I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where it is. I don't know. Yeah, it's it's just depression is definitely worse than physical pain. Just like getting rejected from girls is worse than physical pain by far. I'd rather cut my arms open 4 or 5 times than experience a rejection from a girl, to be honest. It just sucks. It's terrible. It hurts in your heart really badly. But physical pain, a big gash that happens all at once, it's cuts through your nerves completely. It's no biggie. Now, kidney stones, I had those. That's pretty bad. I'd still think getting rejected from a girl is worse than kidney stones, but kidney stones is real bad. I think it's women giving birth, and I honestly think it's worse than women giving birth. That's what I've seen from the internet of women giving that's had children and had kidney stones. They say kidney stones is worse. And so, but regardless, both are bad. Um, but yeah, so I'm still like wrestling with God. I still wish and wish and wish that He would reveal Himself to me in different ways. Like I wish He would comfort my heart more, and my heart doesn't get comforted. I just keep trucking along day by day, trying to keep sane, which is not easy all the time. Not easy. It really isn't easy, to be honest. Like friends and family and like that definitely helps tons. I don't even have problems when I'm around them, but I'm telling you, being alone, like it's good for you as a person, but it's not easy. It's kind of weird, it's weird. And I've had depression and anxiety before when I was struggling with my faith a lot, because it was my whole worldview I was questioning, but and other reasons too, related to if I was ever gonna find a girl or not during college. I was hoping to find a girl during college, but yeah, it's just like life's life is how it is. So even though yes, like I still struggle with wanting God to reveal Himself to me, and I'm probably gonna for a long time. And there is weird things that do happen. Like I do feel the Holy Spirit in my body at times. Like I feel when I'm praying at times, or just in different moments, like I feel God in my body. Like I just know what it is. It's the Holy Spirit. I just can tell. Like, and it's good when it happens. It's appreciated, and I thank Him for it. But I would prefer knowledge. I'd prefer like it's like, hey, like, it's all gonna be okay. Like, just like a word from God would be appreciated. And I do remember my uncle says he heard God talking to him once, and he had a message for me, and it was related to my arm, and it made a whole lot of sense, and I appreciated it. And I can't really remember it that great. It was basically like one of the reasons that I let your arm injury, like your accident, occur is because I wanted it to be a reminder to you, to rely on me and not be so dependent upon yourself, because it did kind of cripple my arm some, and so it's like kind of. And when my uncle told me that, like, I definitely was tearing up, like, because it just felt so right. It felt so true what he was saying. And my uncle doesn't know me 100%. It's like, so I don't care. It's just, I think it was from God, and I appreciated it a lot. But anyways, and I'm not remembering all that correctly too. Like, it's been a while. That was about 2 years ago. It was at least 2 or 3 years ago. And Andrew that told me about that. I want to wrap this up. I just pray that God helps all of us, like in our struggles, and specifically in our journey of faith and what we go through. And like I'm trying to overcome sexual sin, sexual temptation, and just try to abstain from it more. Like, and it's not even me fighting it. It's like being dependent upon God for help with that, and just trying to grow closer to God. It's so hard growing closer to God. It's like, how do I do that? It's like I want you, God, but He's like, you don't want me. Or it's like, I know He does, but it's like He can only do so much. And it's like we gotta go live our lives. It's like we gotta find balance in our lives. It's like we gotta go do other things besides just pray and read the Bible all day, It's weird. It's super weird. And trying to figure out ourselves is weird too. Like, I'm a young guy, and I'm real new to life still. I'm only 26. It's like, even when I'm 30 something, it's like 30-year-olds, like, it's like, yeah, you're not young by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, that's not even true. Like 30 somethings, like they're still young too, And like 40, it's like, okay, you're not a spring chicken no more. It's like 30s and under, I kind of get this, like, we're spring chicken vibes, Just a bunch of kids out wandering around. But when you're 40, you you're just old now. I'm just kidding. It's like, the older and older you get, you keep telling people that are younger than you, oh, you're just a kid. I've heard like 80-year-old people tell 40, 50-year-old something. It's like, oh, y'all just kids. And in a way, everybody that's alive on Earth is just a bunch of kids. It's like 100 years, 200 years, it's kind of nothing. It's like America is like 250. Are we 250 yet? No, we're definitely not. Let me look it up real quick. USAH. 244 years old in 2020. So, man, when you're 250, man, we'll be alive for year 250. So that'll be 6 years, 2026. So in 5 years, the America will have lived 250 years, which is astounding. It's a pretty crazy feat, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a great way to wrap this up, so I'm just gonna say bye. Well, no, that's not true. I guess in our journey of faith, like, we just need to continue to just keep moving forward and just keep praying, keep digging in, reading God's word, like acknowledging Him in our lives. And I do feel like I see God intermittently throughout my life in various ways. Like, so I appreciate the little things. Just be grateful. Just be content with your lot in life. Bye.